welcome, welcome, one and all. It is I, Hazim, Something Else, and welcome to season 4 of Nobody Asked Me But. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you so much. We are so happy to be here. I am so happy to be here. I've missed you guys. It's been a long time coming. And you know what? We are approaching this with fresh everything. We have a new lineup ready to go for you. We have a new format. We have some really great guests that are going to be coming through. So let's jump right in. So today is a kind of a kickback, if you will. We're just saying, hey, we're just kind of getting our feet wet. Getting back into the game, our heads back into the game. You know, we're warming up. And full transparency, this shit can be really hard, like extremely fucking hard. It is not an easy art form, to say the least. It is time consuming. It can be vexing. A lot of times you find yourself asking, like, do I even have things to talk about? Do I even have things to relate to? Do people even care about the things I have to talk about? But the truth is that in true artist form, if it's something that you love, you will always find your way back to it. And so here I am. It's been about a year since we've fully recorded. And when I say we, I mean me. It's been a while since we've been able to sit and just record and feel confident enough to record and feel calm enough to learn the equipment and make sure everything is recorded the right way and just kind of give myself some space and some grace. A lot of things have happened in the last year. I know the last few episodes that you guys have heard, I had gotten married and that is still going great. And there's some other great surprises that we'll discuss further down the line, but I just wanted to come on here and talk to you about what you can expect going forward, because this is not going to be a one and done or 3 and done kind of season. We are ready to rock and roll. So, again, full transparency. If you are an artist, if you are a working artist, this is your safe space for you. So you guys understand exactly how difficult it can be to be consistent, especially when you are in the middle of trying to make sure that your outside world doesn't fall apart. And given what's going on outside, it can definitely feel like, you know, at what point is this entire thing just going to implode? But I want to encourage any working artist that's working on a comedy special, an album, a single, a podcast, a movie, a story, anything that you're writing, even if you are a host or a producer of any kind, or you are a freelancer of any kind, of photographer, take your breaks, keep going, give yourself some grace. There's a lot going on. And even though you might not get it right every single time, you might not push all the right buttons or plug all the right things in, let your creative outlet be your peace. It is something that we all do for work, but it should be the thing that makes you feel the freest. You should be able to come to your creative spaces regardless of gig, regardless of deadline, and you should be able to come to these creative spaces and feel the freest. And with that being said, I would like to tell you what's going to happen in the coming of episodes. So today, as you can see, I just kind of hopped on here and started talking. What's typically going to happen is you're going to hear the intro music, and the intro music is produced by none other than my husband, Cliff Key, and I'll leave all of his information in the description box. So if you liked it and you would like to compensate him to make a podcast intro for you as well, he is a budding producer, a working producer, and so I will leave all of his information. But you'll get the intro song, and then after the intro song, you'll get a brief monologue discussion, just kind of setting up what the episode is going to be about. We are doing full-length episodes and mini-sodes this year, so you can expect a little bit of variety. We like a little bit of variety around here. And you'll get that at the top of the show. After your main discussion, after your intro monologue, we get into the main discussion and discussion points, where we kind of divulge a bit more about what it is that we are discussing. And as far as the topics for this season and for this year and actually going forward, I want it to be a little bit more focused on what it is that we are experiencing as artists and as creatives on a day-to-day basis, and how the world sees us, and some of the things that we're experiencing, how we're working through those spaces, what we're doing to kind of keep ourselves healthy mentally and emotionally, and physically. And so a lot of what we'll be talking about throughout our episodes will be about kind of what it means to be a working artist. Now, let me be clear. We are still going to complain and talk about the ways of the world. I still have a lot of things that are annoying me about people and how they act and what they say, what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do. So you can expect there to be lots of discussion about what's going on in the world as well. But I'm going to really be doing my best to focus in on what it means to be a working creative or artist. The reason for that is because Something Else Productions in general, before it became Else Inc., which we'll talk about much later, Something Else Productions' entire purpose is a space where artists are able to talk and vent. You know, I was a child that wanted to put all of my talents together into one thing, because I can sing, I can dance, I can act, and then I can twirl a baton. And I was a flag twirler, and I played the bass, and I played the bass from 6th grade to college. And I did all these really fancy things. And when people would ask me, I could always have this jumbled answer. Like, I want to be a mogul, and I wanted to be an artist, but I wanted to do this and I want to do that. I just have mad things. You ever see that clip? We've all seen it in Coming to America. And she's like, and I want to write my own songs and do my own things. And then I just want to go here and I want to be a writer. And then I want to be that's exactly who I am. And so Something Else Productions was made with the intention of being a podcast space where you can tune in. And it's like, yeah, I deal with this at my gigs as well. Or you tune in, it's like, wow, I have these days as well. I didn't know everybody else was going through this. So not just a space where we complain, because I will be doing a lot of that. I want to be clear about it. It's in my DNA. But also a space where we could talk about some of the stuff that is super irksome, right? So I'm currently I still teach in Elizabeth, and, you know, I have a lot of qualms as it relates to private lessons, because it's like, you send me somebody that doesn't necessarily have the innate skill. And for people who are not particularly, who that's where voice and musicality isn't their art form, it's like, well, isn't that the point of teaching? And it's just kind of like, it is, but there's different aspects of that. So that's just an example of the ways that I would be, you know, we're going to be complaining about it, but it's also going to be more focused based on what we're experiencing as working creators. But do not be fooled. There will be plenty of regular societal issues, current events. We got that old sorry election coming up, which please vote. It's really nasty out here. Please vote. We can talk. We can air grievances later. Just use your brain. Use your good common sense. Understand that just because he is not the guy that y'all think he is, and I don't see the allure. And you're not making any more money. As a matter of fact, it's a long story, but if you have not done your research, please vote and vote properly. But so yes, that's essentially what we're going to subject matter. That's what we're going to be talking about. Also, I don't quite believe in time, if that makes sense. So sometimes I get the information and I'll record it as we're getting it. And sometimes it'll be later on. So if there's like a piece of news that you're waiting for me to talk about, rest assured that it's very possible that I know about it, but I might not talk about it until way later, just because we have other things that we're talking about, like other scheduled events. We'll get to it when we get to it. Hopefully it'll be, in a timely manner, but it just is so that, I think there's so much pressure to be the first and to be at the top and in the know. And that can be cool, but it also has its weaknesses, especially if you are a one-woman show such as myself, right? So there are things that we will talk about for sure. And sometimes I need more information as well. So it might take a second for me to just kind of gather all of what I have to say. But we will rest assured that it'll be talked about. It just might not always be right at the right moment that it drops that specific day. There will be some new guests that come in, and I'm very excited for them. So please be on the lookout for them. We'll have lots to talk about as far as what they have to offer and how it'll all tie in to Nobody Asked Me But. So stay tuned for those new guests that'll be coming in to share with us some of their experiences. There's some new segments that are going to be in. So first of all, I've said this before, but it hasn't quite been implemented. But I would like for this to be an interactive experience, right? So yes, most of what Nobody Asked Me But is that I kind of come in and I talk to you guys and you guys just kind of listen. But listen, this is an open discussion. Talk to me. I'd love to hear from you. I think there is a new segment that I would like to call filing a complaint. I'd like to file a complaint. And what you'll do is you'll email me at els@somethin'els.com. So that's E as in elephant, L as in love, S as in Sam, at Somethin'Els, SOMETHINELS.com. ELS.com, and I'll put that in the description. And the subject matter will be Nobody Asked Me But, and you'll put your complaint, and then you'll start your email and we'll read it aloud. If you don't want your name to be announced, we can give you a fake name. But I'd love to hear about what are the things that are bothering you. And it doesn't have to be artist based. It can be anything. Nobody asked me, but I hate when people don't put on their blinker when they move into the next lane. Nobody asked me, but this lady's feet smell like corn chips. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, send it in. I'd love to read it aloud. I'm also going to be doing my best. So the episodes will drop on Wednesday around lunchtime, and then going from there, in the evening on a Wednesday, I'll hop on to IG Live. I'll let you guys know the day before. I'll let you know at the end of every episode. And we'll get on IG Live and we'll just either talk about the episode, we'll talk about whatever you want. And we'll stay there just for a few minutes. This time around, it's less about what I have to say and it's more about the building of community, because I'm not in this by myself. And, you guys have things you want to say and I want to hear them and I want to talk about them. And I think it's important that we help each other. And we reach back and we just kind of be a beacon for each other where other spaces are not necessarily allowing us the space to do so. We also have a new segment called Mixed Media. So Mixed Media is, if you are familiar with the musical production Hair, they talk about mixed media, and they mean like the point of mixed media is essentially like diversity. So if you think of like wearable prints, you might have polka dots, you might have plaid, you might have houndstooth, you might have stripes. That's mixed media. So the mixed media segment is where we talk about new documentaries, any kind of music that's been dropping, if there's like an album dropping that I really like, or a couple of albums, movies, anything to that effect that I think were cool or had some sort of really inspiring, or even sometimes bizarre, because baby, I love bizarre television. We'll talk about it here on the show. That moved me, that perplexed me. There's a lot of shows that I watched over the summer that were so intensely interesting that it was like, I don't even know where to begin. So we'll be talking about that, of course. Also, we may bring back some of our old segments, like the Jet Beauty of the Week was such a great one. And I'm also, I'm not opposed to things that make me upset, filing a complaint of that nature. But we will have what I call a lightning round. And the lightning round is also a new segment. And you should think of it very similarly to a Family Feud, where at the Family Feud at the end, when you win, you have like 30 seconds to say a quick answer. So it might be, nobody asked me, but I did this, and this. Bang. Nobody asked me this. I did but. Bang. So you'll have that. And then, of course, we will wrap it up with a final thought. And in our final thoughts, we'll talk about any announcements, anything you need to look out for, anything that's coming up. So hopefully you were not too bored, and you get to hear all the things of the final episode. My brain, it hasn't changed. That hasn't changed in the last seasons, right? In the last couple of seasons, my brain is still mush. I still am trying to say words, and then they don't come out, and we have to rewind and run it back again. It's part of the allure of the show. It's why I'm here. It's why you listen, I hope. So stay tuned, friends. And I really just want to say thank you. Thank you for sticking it out with me. Thank you for wanting to come back. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. For those of you that keep telling me that you're listening, and you'll say, hey, I've been listening to it a lot. I really appreciate that, because when you don't put out something, when you come up with an idea and you think about the reasons why it stopped or it didn't quite go as far as you wanted it to go, it can be overwhelming, and it can be extremely discouraging, thinking that you didn't do this for the right reasons. Even if you did, even if you fell off your horse, it can often feel like you didn't quite make it. And the fact that there are people that are still listening, that are still interested, that are still here, it really makes me happy. So shout out to you. Thank you so much. And I think that will conclude our welcome back episode for today. We are working on video portion. I feel like I was kind of reinventing the wheel a little bit, and it was getting to be a bit overcomplicated. So I think I finally found like a less complicated system. So we'll be working on that, and we'll be sending those out as they come. And there's also another show that I will be producing called Girl, Do Your Show. And that will be premiering on YouTube at the top of the year. And so, I'm really interested in how that goes. And I will leave my YouTube link at the bottom so you can subscribe to that as well. And I'm looking forward to talking with y'all. I'm looking forward to laughing with you guys. I hope you guys are so excited for the coming episodes, because I certainly am. And yeah, I love you guys so much. And I will talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.